today we are looking at percentage. So percentage refers to out of 100. So at the lowest level, we're looking at percentage, meaning out of 100. So it's like a rating scale. We're rating things out of 100. So if I have, say, 50 out of 100, then we could look at this as 50%. Why? Because percentage is out of 100 and this is 50 out of 100, so it is 50%. Basically, it's half of it. Now, we can write percentages as fractions. For example, we know that this 50 out of 100 really means 50 as the numerator and 100 as the denominator. So, for example, I did a test. There was 100 marks. I got 50 out of 100. I could represent that as a fraction, where the 50 is my numerator and the 100 is my denominator. So it can be said that I got 50 out of 100, or we could say 50%. But looking at this could be reduced to a half. Because 50 out of 100, well, I got half of the scores. So 50%. Alright, this really means 3 out of 100. This really means 20 out of 100. And this really means 85 out of 100, because that's what the percentage symbol represents, being marked out of 100. So I could represent these out of 100 because it's percentage. Another thing is we could change from percentage, we could look at it as a fraction. We also could look at it as a decimal. So if we look at this, we could see that we're changing from percentage and we're writing it as fractions. And we could go further, we could change these fractions to decimals. For example, this means 3 divided by 100. Well, it means 3 divided by 100. It really means 0.03. So 3% is 3 over 100 as a fraction. Also, it's 0.03 as a decimal. This is the same thing as 20 divided by 100. Well, we could either use our calculators or move the decimal point 2 places to the left. We'll get 0.20 or 0.2 if we wish. 0.2 is the same as 20%, as the same as 20 over 100. Let's look at this one. It means 85 divided by 100. As a decimal, it's 0.85. So as you can see, there is a direct relationship between percentage, fractions, and decimals. We could move from one to the next. Now let's go the other way around. Why not just look at decimals and see how we could write decimals as percentage? So if I have any decimal, for example, a 0.51, and I want to change that to percentage. Percentage is rated out of 100. So looking at this decimal to percentage, all we have to do to change anything to percentage is that we multiply by 100. So that is the link. Doesn't matter what we have. The moment we want to change that to percentage, we multiply by 100. When we multiply decimals by 100, we actually could go using the decimal point moving it 2 places to the right. 2 places to the right. So let's look. 0.51, if I move this decimal point 2 places to the right, because I multiply by 100, I'll get 51%. So 0.51 is the same as 51%. What if I have 5.123 and I want to change this to percentage? Doesn't matter what I have, as long as I'm going to change to percentage, I multiply by 100. Well, if I don't have my calculators, then I could easily move the decimal point 2 places to the right. This is where it's going to lodge. It's going to lodge itself between the 2 and the 3. My answer, 512.3%. So 5.123 as a percentage is 512.3%. Let's look at another decimal number. What if I see myself with 0.0034? Well, if I want to change this to percentage, the principle remains the same. I multiply by 100. And when I multiply by 100, it means my decimal point will travel 2 places to the right. 1, 2. It's going to lodge itself between the last 0 and the 3. What's my answer? 0.34%. So that's how we move from decimals to percentage. We simply multiply by 100. But again, we remember that whenever you multiply by 100, the decimal point actually moves 2 places to the right. All right, let's look at finding the percentage of an amount. Let's look. What if we're supposed to find 5% of, let us say, $600? Then I expect my answer to be in dollars, because I want to find how much dollars is 5% of the 600. So 600, 5%. Okay, 5% is 5 over 100. We multiply this by the $600. If we have our calculators, we could work it out. If not, we could do our canceling. Whichever way, it still works. It still works. So we'll cancel the 2 zeros there. We could cancel 2 zeros. That means 100 into itself 1 time, 100 into 600 6 times. What I have left? 5 times 6. And I'm looking at $30. What this means is 5% of $600 is $30. And if you notice, I have dollars at the end. I did not say 30% because we're finding a percentage of some dollars, so my answer must be some dollars. Let's look at another one. What if we're finding, let's say, 15% of, I don't know, maybe 400 marbles? Well, we're finding 15% of some marbles. What am I looking at? I am looking at 15 over 100 multiplied by 400 marbles. So let's cancel down. Well, luckily, 100 could work again. 100 into 100 one time, and 100 into 400 4 times. 15 times 4, and my answer is 60 marbles. 60 marbles. So this is saying that 15% of 400 marbles is actually 60 marbles. So that is how you find the percentage of an amount. You set up your thing as a fraction, and then you multiply by the amount, and you do your canceling down. It doesn't really get harder than that. What do we mean? Well, for example, what if we're saying, what is, say, 6 out of 10 as a percentage? So we're looking at comparing 6 and 10. 6 out of 10. How much is 6 as a percentage of 10? Like 6 out of 10 as a percentage. Well, we could represent this part as a fraction of 10. Like 6 out of 10 can be written as 6/10. But we want to represent this idea as a percentage. Well, the moment we change anything to percentage, we multiply by 100 over 1. What can cancel? I could use 10. 10 into itself 1 time. 10 into 100 10 times. What do I have? 6 times 10, 60. But what is my answer? 60%. What is 6 out of 10 as a percentage? So there it is, I represented my answer as a percentage. 6 out of 10 as a percentage is 60%. 12 over 36 as a fraction. And then we change this to percentage. Let's watch the narrative, right? Express 12 as a percentage of 36. When you relate 12 to 36, if we're rating that out of 100, what will we get? Well, let's see. 12 can cancel into itself 1 time, 12 into 36 3 times. 3 divided by 100 is going to leave us with 33.33%. So it is actually 1/3 of it. So expressing 12 as a percentage of 36, our answer is 33.33%. Let's look at another one to express 48 as a percentage of 8. I want to express 48 as a percentage of 8. Now, in this case, we have to look very carefully. 48, we want to express that as a percentage of 8. Many people would have just put 8 over the 48, but you have to watch the narrative of 8. So times 100, because yes, the 48 is bigger, but this happens a lot of times. So every now and then, your percentage can go over 100 depending on the case. Because what if I had bought something for $8, but I sold it for $48? I actually sold it for a lot more percentage than just 100. So yes, we can express things like this. It's just the narrative that we have to follow. Express 48 as a percentage of 8. So it's going to be 48 as the numerator over 8, and we do this by 100. Well, 8 into itself 1 time. 8 into 48, 6. This is 600%. Try to put 8 into 48, you could get it 6 times. That means that's 600 because this is the base. Well, I hope you learned, and thank you for watching.